What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It's Saturday afternoon. We're at halftime, coming out of halftime, or just going into halftime of the noon games. So far, this is not a great slate of games at noon. Definitely the weakest of the three time slots that there are. Let's go see at what we've got going on right now. Marshall and Ohio State. Ohio State looked like they were going to go in at halftime up 28-7. Marshall scored a late touchdown, though. It's 28-14 at half. In the shoe, Ohio State up 28-14 over the Thundering Herd. That's not impressive for the number 3 ranked team in the country. Not by a long shot there. I expect them to come out in the second half and pour it on. But just fucking around with teams that aren't that great. Speaking of not fucking around with teams that aren't that great, Clemson 45-7 over NC State at halftime. Something happened between the end of the Georgia game, 3 weeks ago, and then the beginning of the App State game 2 weeks ago. Clemson has found their offense, and I think that Fuddy-Duddy Dabo finally turned the playbook, the controls of the offense, and everything that entails over to Garrett Riley, because they've looked like a new team. Now, NC State is not good. They're going to be slugging it out for last place in the ACC with some of these, because from what I've seen from Stanford and from what I've seen from Cal, teams that people thought were going to be in the basement of the ACC, NC State would not be within 2 to 3 touchdowns of those teams, let alone Clemson. In fact, I think Clemson's going to struggle a lot more with the tree next Saturday than what they're struggling right now with NC State. But anyway, 45-7, Clemson up. Cade Klubnik looks good. Phil Maffa looks good. That little shit number 0, Antonio Williams, looks good. I don't like him. And if y'all want to know why I don't like him, y'all can go back and watch some videos from a couple of years ago. But he's from the Columbia area. South Carolina recruited him hard. He kind of spurned us and went to Clemson at the last minute. And then he shows up at some kind of like little 7-on-7 football camp at the beginning of June a couple of years ago, and Shane Beamer kicked him out of it, allegedly because he was running his mouth and acting like an asshole. He says it wasn't, and then his dad, who doesn't even have the same last name as him, so, go figure that, gets on Twitter and gets all kind of mouthy about it to South Carolina and Shane Beamer, but, whatever. Clemson's up 45-7 on a terrible team. Florida 28-14 over Mississippi State at halftime. Look, Mississippi State, if y'all see in the thumbnail, they're sitting here trying to troll Billy Napier. Bring a team that's not getting their doo-doo pushed in to the table before you start painting yourself up to troll. So I want to ask y'all this too. They paint themselves up. It says Sun Belt something. Do you think Uncle Lou coined that? Because he was the first person that I ever heard calling Billy Napier Sun Belt Billy. I think he coined that. I think he actually should have the trademark on that. I don't know, man. It's crazy, but I hear everybody using it now. That phrase has went fucking viral. Sunbelt Billy. Props to Uncle Lou for coming up with that. Props to me for coming up with Carolina Jackpot, too, because somebody said in my comment section last night, and I never thought about this, that I should have trademarked the name Carolina Jackpot when I came up with it back in 2016, when I changed the name of my YouTube channel to Carolina Jackpot. Because now, not only South Carolina, but North Carolina have patterned scratch-off tickets with the name Carolina Jackpot. If I had the trademark on that, they would have had to have gone through me in order to make those lottery tickets. Can you imagine that? Jeez. But anyway, I don't know how to trademark nothing. But anyway, Florida up 28-14. Mississippi State's pass defense is terrible. It's awful. They're not a good team. They were down 21-7 a while ago. They were driving. And I said, if they don't score here, I don't think they have a chance. They didn't. They did, though, manage to score right before halftime. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. These referees... These referees and these situations with the being so liberal with dropping these flags, being woke when it comes to throwing the laundry on the field, this shit has got to stop, y'all. This shit has absolutely got to stop. These holding calls, these ticky-tack pass interference calls, it's getting out of hand. I watched Mississippi State have a decent drive going on, and they got called for offensive holding by one of their receivers, and it wasn't. He blocked the guy. He blocked him. And they're screwing teams out of points, which is in turn, that's making 14-point swings. from one way to the other, killing momentum. They're absolutely horrible at their jobs. And I get they have a tough job, but if you have a tough job, you need to try to be good at it and not be damn horrible at it. Indiana up 38-14 on Charlotte. They're starting to pour it on here. I was a little bit worried about this one a while ago. Oh, Biff Poggi. Y'all seen old Biff Poggi, the head coach for Charlotte? He over here, he's got his stuff rolled up. No, I can't show this because I got a Confederate flag tattoo with a gamecock in it. People's going to call me a racist. Something I got back in 2002. But anyway, he's like this on the sidelines, this guy. But yeah, his team's not good, and they're losing to Charlotte right now. Maryland up big over Villanova. Who cares? James Madison, 53-21 over UNC right now, and it's not even halftime yet. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. And this is not the Kurt Signetti James Madison. This dude left and went to Indiana and took all his good players with him. And they're beating you by 32 points in Chapel Hill. That football program's dead. I hate them, too. I hate the fact we lost to them last year. They're absolute garbage. That was the last good win that they had as a program. Cincinnati up 24-0 over Houston. I thought Houston was getting better. 14-7, West Virginia up on Kansas at halftime. There's been some injuries in that game. They carted somebody off, took them off in an ambulance. I hope they're okay. 17-13, Tulane up on Louisiana Lafayette, formerly of Sunbelt Billy. Right now, 30-0, Army up big over Rice. I took Army and Indiana were two favorites. I took in my favorites parlay, and that's working out real good right now. Army is absolutely beating the hell out of Rice. A lot of teams getting the hell beat out of them today. Ohio down 17-0 to Kentucky with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Not a lot else going on in the world of power conference football. I want to talk about these games from last night real quick before I get off of here. Syracuse came out last night. They were not ready to play. They were flat in the first half. Tried to make a game of it in the second half with Stanford, and they just couldn't do it. And that team from the West Coast came and punched them in the mouth, hit a field goal as time expired to win 26-24 in the Dome. I said Stanford is not a terrible team. That mobile quarterback, Ashton Daniels, he's not great, but he's decently efficient at what he does. They have one wide receiver whose name I can't hit, like Amanor. I don't remember what his last name is. He's pretty good. This guy had a one-handed grab last night. Good job there by Stanford coming out and winning their first ACC game. That was about the furthest trip they'll make, too. Up to Syracuse. Illinois 31-24 over Nebraska last night in overtime. Brett Bielema and the crew here. Let me ask y'all this: between these football coaches, A. Brett Bielema, B. Sam Pittman, C. Mark Mangino, D. Josh Heupel, who would be the first person to make a Chinese buffet go bankrupt? Think about it. Who would be the first one to get kicked out of a Chinese buffet and have the owner say to them, "No, you leave. You stay too long. You leave. You no more food"? I think that it's probably Brett Bielema. I think he's probably the biggest right now. I don't know about Mark Mangino and his whereabouts. I haven't seen him for a while. But anyway, 31-24, Nebraska falls to Illinois at home. And then San Jose State, Washington State, what a wild game. 54-52 was the final score in two overtimes. What about that? San Jose State is coached by, remember Ken Niumatalolo was the coach at Navy for a long time. How long was he there? It was about 15 years. Used to wear the little lays on the sideline and shit. And all Navy did was run the ball. All they did was run the ball. Now, at San Jose State, all they do is throw the ball. They do not run the ball. This is kind of like a Luke Fickell type situation. In that, sometimes the region of a school or just the school that you're at in itself kind of dictates as a coach what you're going to do. Because with Luke Fickell, I think he wanted to go to Wisconsin and do an air raid. He found out it's not going to work at Wisconsin. It's not going to work no matter what you do. So they're just going to run the football just like they were always doing. And with San Jose State, All they ever do is throw the ball around. It's a West Coast team. Ken Niumatalolo goes out there. He looks at it and says, I like what you're doing. Let's just keep on doing that. And he doesn't run the ball at all. So that's really crazy. But there's some good games coming on later on today. Of course, we got the Tennessee game tonight against Oklahoma at 7:30, along with the Gamecocks starting Robbie Ashford. God help us. Tonight at 7:30 in Williams-Brice Stadium. Spoiler, I think it's going to be an ugly, ugly game. I'm glad that I took Akron to cover, and I'm glad that I took the under in that game now, because I knew Lenore Sellers wasn't going to play. Once I saw him hurt last week, I said, that's it. He's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm tired of it, man. I am tired of these fucking injuries at South Carolina that seem to hamper us all the time. What is that? I mean, we got teams out here who've got quarterback. Some of these guys, this Klubnik guy for Clemson, he ain't been hurt none. He's not missed. And I'm not saying I want him to be hurt. I'm just using that as an example. I haven't seen him sit. I haven't seen Nico sitting. The only time I saw him sitting was when they were up by 60 points. I mean, I think Graham Mertz at Florida was hurt a little bit last year. I haven't seen Brady Cook at Missouri hurt a bunch. I mean, it just seems like certain programs are just snake freaking bit with injuries. And we happen to be one of them. Tag! Gamecock, man, you're it. Y'all get to be snake bit with injuries. They can blame it on whatever they want to. It's the strength and conditioning program. I've already told you one time that strength and conditioning coach, Luke Day, he should have fucking been gone, and he's not yet. So, it's just whatever. It's a high ankle sprain. I guess strength and conditioning wouldn't have anything to do with that jackpot. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, that's the end of the little rant here about the noon games. Anyway, I hope Mississippi State can come back in the second half. Probably ain't. Probably going to lose by 4 touchdowns. Anyway, screw Florida. Screw Clemson. Who else is on here? Screw Charlotte, because I got Indiana. Screw Rice. And screw West Virginia. Kansas, you need to come back here. Anyway, I will see you guys later on. I appreciate you very much. Peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. I'll see y'all at 7:30 tonight, or 7:15. Woo!